Okay, so Daredevil Born Again Season 2 killed my family. Logged into my browser history and leaked it all over the internet.
No. For the record, I don't have a problem with feet.
I know what kind of man you are.
Wait! I was even at the doctor's last night and found out that the show murdered him too.
Death cannot kill what never dies. Even in her final moments, she was the brightest of lights.
But most of all, Daredevil Born Again is an abortion.
Get out the car, spread your butt cheeks, and put your teeth on the curb.
What? See, now that's some bullshit.
These were the type of unhinged opinions I was seeing online about the first season of Daredevil Born Again. And yeah, it wasn't the best.
Kingpin? That shit's ass, bro.
But come on. However, the creators came out and told us the first season of Born Again was mixed. It was muddled because of the creative overhaul. They had to rewrite it and reshoot it and change everything in post. So yeah, I mean, I got it. I understood season 1 for what it was and enjoyed it as a build-up to what was pitched to be a grandiose season 2 that would fix everything the first season of Born Again broke. This was the claim that was made, and according to every critic, every influencer that I see online, that is exactly what happened. Marvel has brought back Daredevil. It was the best season of the show we have ever seen. Born Again season 2 has been heralded as a genuine top-tier MCU property with a masterclass of writing, of characters and action, and all I constantly hear is it's on par with the Netflix show. But let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something else.
Let me tell you what, Dale.
Tell you what I think.
Tell me what you think.
I don't think
This second season of Born Again is not only nowhere near the level of the Netflix series, it's also not even a great season of TV to begin with. I know a lot of you watching this video probably loved this season, judging by the reviews online, but it just baffles me why. Don't get me wrong, the creatives did super well improving on the first season of Born Again, bringing us back some top-tier Daredevil moments and an entertaining season of TV. But to be honest, every episode just left me feeling so empty. Felt so lifeless, so lacking in soul, and so lacking in purpose. And to be honest, while so much was put into making a top-tier season of TV here, and while I found myself entertained each episode, I feel like once I left my seat every time, I got up feeling numb. Feeling like this was an insult to my intelligence. Feeling like this season of Daredevil was genuinely just a waste of time. I'm saying all of this from a place of love for the characters, a place of love for the show, for the creatives, for all of Daredevil. I truly want the show to be incredible, and I'm sure many of you watching may have thought this was amazing, and I'm happy for you, but just hear me out. I really feel like I watched a different show to the critics. On every single level, I'll be diving into how this season from beginning to end fails to capture the beauty it promises. So instead of pandering to the studios, begging for an early screener of season 3, I will instead be telling you exactly why Daredevil Born Again season 2 is an insult to the Netflix show. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I like Daredevil. I mean, he's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool guy.
No. Wait.
The reason why I think that Daredevil is the greatest character in all of fiction is because of the truly layered nature of Matt Murdock. And I believe Born Again Season 2 fails in every way to express Matt as a character whatsoever. He doesn't even feel like a human in the show. Any scene that could give Matt some depth in Born Again, any possible philosophical, raw and emotional scene plays out over the span of 30 seconds and is edited like this to keep our goislop-consuming, brain-rotted minds entertained.
I'm such a fat fucking chub.
Matt is simply just a do-gooder now. He's not flawed and doesn't feel like a genuine human in any sense. Matt has an average of 10 to 13 minutes of screen time per episode, so he's only in 30% of his own show. In the original show, we care for Matt because he feels real, he feels human. Daredevil is such a layered character in every sense in the original show. Matt is a lawyer who lives to bring justice in the courtroom, trying to stop the criminals, the dirt of this world, through the justice system, rather than through murder. And then in the night, he trudges through the dark, grimy streets of Hell's Kitchen as Daredevil to deliver beatdowns on criminals. He has them arrested and placed in the very courtrooms he defends in. Matt wants to kill these criminals, but he has such a deep-rooted love for his faith. He knows that he should never make himself the judge, jury, and executioner, because once he chooses to take all of those roles, he becomes exactly like Fist. Someone who controls the judges, controls the jury, and executes whoever he likes. Matt speaks to Father Lantom and Sister Maggie, and through this he develops a deep need to preserve God's world and his natural order, as there can always be a light in everyone. If we choose to end the lives of people who do harm to others, we take away the opportunity to find that light. And yeah, I mean, these ideas exist in the new season of Born Again, but come on, they're so criminally undercooked. I'll be comparing this season to the original Netflix season 3 because it is genuinely a repeat of the same story, but one that prioritizes the excitement, as many people say, the hype moments and aura.
We give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
over the genuine slow burn, layered and methodical writing and execution of the story presented in season 3. Now we choose to repeat the same story and they try to make it more grandiose, try to make it more epic, but for most of the season the plot feels genuinely uninteresting. Okay, I mean, Fisk is mayor now, Fisk has taken over the city, Fisk is controlling everything, cool, we've seen it all before. He just has an official title slapped on Matt's arc in Netflix season 3 starts him off as a broken man. He's lost his faith, he's lost his center. He wants to murder Fisk, but through seeing Bullseye, a man wearing his suit who does take the lives of others, he realizes what he could become. He learns through the goodness of others, through the change of Reinadim, that people can be good, that God is good and he has a plan. Everything happened exactly as it was meant to. Every theme in the season so perfectly builds each episode and culminates in Matt's final speech to Sister Maggie that feels genuinely earned, and because we slowly built this throughout the season, we care so much more. But now, compare what I said about Matt in season 3 to this show. What is Matt's struggle in this season? What is his arc? How does he grow? How does he learn? He does nothing. How can you turn the greatest, deepest, most layered character in all of fiction into an NPC who does nothing, doesn't grow in any way? The only thing that Matt contributes to the show is cool action scenes for, again, hype moments and aura. And wow, look, they recreated the comic panels. That's so cool. Why not actually adapt the deeply written characters of the comics? I don't know about you, but I don't love Daredevil for just his fight scenes. I love his fight scenes because I love Matt. I love his character, and because of that, every action scene is so much more tense, so much more purposeful, and I care so much more. Matt has his only genuine character moments of Born Again Season 2 in Episode 5 and in the finale. Episode 5 is genuinely a masterful episode in every metric. It takes time with the characters. We finally have random conversations that humanize them, even if it's about feet.
What's wrong with feet? I don't have a problem with feet.
I did it because I liked it. Hell, I loved it.
And this makes Matt a real person outside the constant plot. Matt feels like a genuine person this episode, but in the rest of the season we only see the mask and the man behind it is absent. Also, the cinematography of this episode in the flashback scenes genuinely touched a part of my soul. It was beautiful, but it only makes the actual show look so much worse when it cuts back to shots like this immediately after.
Come on,
Can't it just look like this? But that aside, the episode is just a sit down with Matt, with Fisk, with Vanessa, and allows us to slowly live with the characters. It's purposeful, it has intent, it makes us care about the people we're watching each week. But this episode is so far in levels above everything else that it makes the rest of the show look miserable in comparison. Every episode before and after that is just filled with action, filled with hype, but no substance. And episode 5, the grand design, makes the flaws of the season so much more apparent. We can't just have one episode of genuine character moments and slow pacing, we need this consistently. We need to care about what's happening, we need to care about Daredevil. The entire season just feels like constant plot, every line is exposition, every moment is focused on stopping Fisk. This is the whole show. We need to stop Fisk, this is how we do it. Every single line. We need to love the world that Fisk is trying to corrupt before we can care about saving it. Why should I care about these people? Why should I care about New York? Why should I care about the central conflicts of the show when I'm not even given anything to humanize these people? Season 1 of Daredevil shows us the everyday people and gives us an entire storyline about Mrs. Cardenas. Has us sit with her in her apartment that Fisk is taking and destroying, takes time to show us through multiple episodes how Fisk is genuinely hurting Hell's Kitchen and gives us people to care about. We care about Mrs. Cardenas and her death is so much more impactful because of it, and it makes us as an audience genuinely need Matt to stop Fisk because we care about the humans of the city. We care about Ben Urich, we sit with him and his wife in moments that have nothing to do with the plot, nothing to do with the story, and therefore he feels like a real person, and his death actually matters to us. In Born Again, these really don't feel like people. Everybody feels like a plot device. Did they really have no idea what to do with Karen in this season? Where is her struggle? Where are her moments? Bar one scene where she freaks out about killing Bullseye, but no struggle that builds throughout, no arc, nothing. And in every season of the original, Karen had genuine care put into her, a storyline that tied into the main themes of the season. In season 3, we get an entire episode focused on her, a slow episode right in the midst of Bullseye going to shoot her, to make us care that bit more for her character. And they make us want her to live even more, to make this moment even more impactful. So when Bullseye tries to kill Karen, it's a huge moment for us as an audience, because we care. Because she's flawed, you know, she's broken, she's layered, and she's human. I do not care about Karen whatsoever in this season, and I definitely don't care about her relationship with Matt. It just feels so forced, it feels so unnecessary, and the scenes where he says, "I love you" to her were genuine jump scares.
I love you.
There's no chemistry, but that's not the actor's fault, like not at all. We've seen that Charlie and Deborah can have genuine chemistry because in the original show they have so much. Their scenes together are electrifying in the Netflix show, and we can clearly see why they care for one another, but also why they must be apart. The Netflix season 2, which is criminally underrated by the way, takes time to develop their relationship, and breaks it down to show how far Matt has taken his Daredevil persona, how the addiction has consumed his life and he's pushing away everybody around him, pushing away Karen. But in Born Again, we see about 2 scenes of care between the two. The character moments feel mandated, and they just have to happen happen rather than connections and relationships and people built through the entire season. 90% of Matt and Karen's scenes are just exposition about the plot, or moments where they just say I love you to remind the audience that, oh look, they're together. It's so thin and it's just so unbelievably weak. In the Netflix show, Matt and Karen's relationship was an unspoken love, even when they weren't together. We sat with them, we saw their chemistry, we saw the romance, and the relationship had purpose, to show how Matt's life as Daredevil affects the people he loves. What is the purpose of Matt and Karen being together in Born Again? They were once the most layered characters in all of Marvel, and now they're just empty shells. Devices to move the plot forward. The only characters that actually feel like people in Season 2 are BB and Daniel. We see them grow together, and we have an ultimate final ending for Daniel that is built through their characters. But what is Daniel and BB's arc saying this season? When BB and Daniel have that dinner where Daniel finds the SD card in her jacket and discovers that she has been using him for information on Fisk, imagine if that had taken place at BB's home, with her family, the mother or father that had their brother killed by Wilson Fisk's hand. Imagine how much more impactful Daniel's arc would have been if he walked around BB's house and saw photos of her uncle, saw a human life that had been lost by Fisk's hand, and how that impacted an entire family, rather than BB just walking around Daniel's room and feeling bad because he's her friend. It's so loose, it's so thin. Didn't have to do this exact plot, but just give some depth to the characters beyond the surface. The writing just feels so lazy. Born Again thinks that because we just see Daniel's mother, we just see his room, that we will ultimately care for Daniel and will agree with BB's decision to call back the leak she puts out from him. We need genuine, nuanced moments that make us care for our characters and not just seeing things that should make us care. They didn't have to specifically do that Ben Urich plotline, but they just needed to build his change. Build the moment that Daniel decides to save BB, rather than having it genuinely happen out of nowhere in a quick 1-second change. Literally a second before his redemption moment, he tries to send BB to be killed and then immediately changes his mind because what? Because she screams and he feels bad?
This isn't a safe house, is it? Daniel! Daniel! Daniel, please! Daniel! Is this really the person you want to be?
Wait a minute!
Take this and go. Don't go home. Don't tell me where. And do not go any place you look, okay?
Wait, what are you gonna do?
You do the right thing.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. We might whoop your ass you do that again.
Imagine Daniel sees the impact on BB's family, the impact that Fisk causes, and rather than blindly supporting him and feel a little bit bad for burying a body, he becomes fearful of Fisk's operation, the man that we thought could inherit the throne, the sycophant that glazes incessantly everything Fisk does.
I swear to Christ, sir, I will not let you down. I will work night and day for you. Sir, I will burn for you.
I know you will.
What the fuck is this?
I know you will.
Get off that nigga dick, bro. What is you doing?
Mayor Fisk, that's the coolest fucking thing on the planet.
Slowly over the season feels the pain that Fisk's operation has inflicted on the everyman. The scale of Fisk's hurt, and through Daniel learning this, we too care about the people that Fisk hurts, and we too want Fisk to be removed from the mayor's office. I saw someone say that Daniel's arc in Born Again Season 2 is Agent Nadim level. What are these people smoking? Daniel's arc only stands out because it's just about the only character arc in the season. And not only that, we don't see Daniel debating throughout the season the morality of what he's doing, bar some tiny moments here and there for genuine seconds. Compare this to Nadim, who is exposed to a complex web of mistrust and deception in the FBI. Run by Wilson Fisk, he witnesses the corruption and witnesses the effect it has on the people of Hell's Kitchen, and ultimately decides to sacrifice himself to stop Fisk, for his son, reflecting a beautiful parallel to Jack Murdock, a father who wants his son to have a better life by standing up against corruption, leading to his ultimate demise. This is a beautiful character journey for someone that stands up against Fisk. Every plot this season has been done before, and done with much more substance. The finale tries to fix this in some ways, allowing for an insane story where Matt has to reveal himself as Daredevil to stop Fisk, an entirely genuinely fresh and unique way to end Kingpin's reign, which truly feels exciting and new. Fisk finally truly becoming Kingpin and going on a rampage and being the life out of hundreds of protesters was awesome and fresh, and the final moment where Matt and Fisk sit together and speak about grace and faith and Fisk finally accepts his fate is an incredible moment. Instead of the typical battle of wanting to kill Fisk and then having to stop Fisk with the law and then have him arrested in the end, this finale shows in action why Daredevil's no kill rule and his focus on grace and faith can work in practice, and the characters throughout the season demonstrate this too, with Bullseye being redeemed and episode 5 of the season focusing on redemption and how we can forgive. It's genuinely fresh and it's exciting, putting Daredevil's moral code into practice and showing why it works, over the Punisher's idea of just killing, because had Matt killed Bullseye or Fisk, he would have taken a life without the ability for them to change or grow, and Matt pulling out the smoking gun on Fisk and revealing his identity to the court as the way to have him removed as mayor is genuinely awesome and unique. So you're probably wondering, this sounds great, right? You've just talked about why the season's incredible, but hold on a second. To be be honest, all of this just shows me how this season could have been great, and they didn't actually execute any of this right in the actual show. If the moments in the finale were built through genuine character moments throughout the season, they would have been so much more impactful and just mattered so much more, but instead we skip all the build up just for a big surprise, because let's forget good writing and characters, we have hype moments and aura, guys! One of the main reasons why I believe that Daredevil Born Again fails to capture the magic of the Netflix show is exemplified in this quote from the showrunner. He claims that in Daredevil Born Again there is more fun in the moments with these characters and a lot less navel-gazing than before. The earlier show at its best was fantastic, at its worst it was two characters in a room talking about what a hero is. I felt that has been done before. I'm not taking swipes, I just didn't want to hear characters grousing about their lot in life. I wanted to see them doing things. Except that's what made the original show so special. Yes, it had the action, it had the hype moments, but it also made us care.
Only I do the one thing that you can't. You hit them and they get back up. I hit them and they stay down.
People you murdered deserve another chance.
What, to kill again, rape again? Is that what
No,
you
Frank,
want?
to try again, Frank. To try.
Like a muddied spring or a polluted fountain is the righteous man who gives way before the wicked. The darkness of such an act, of taking a life, will spread.
What if it already has?
Then we wouldn't be sitting here, would we?
And here's the thing. I had a really shitty night. The kind where you think you've seen the bottom of humanity. And the pit just keeps getting deeper. I can't take another step. You're not alone.
But nowadays, let's skip all of that crap, okay? It's all navel-gazing anyway, and skip to whoever the hell this guy is arresting random people because, oh my god, Fisk is evil, he controls New York. It's all really just for shock value. In the Netflix show, we are scared of Fisk because of genuinely deep intellectual writing. Fisk could manipulate health insurance to put someone in debt, get them refused promotions, corrupt their seniors just for the purpose of corrupting them, then gave them success before pulling the rug from underneath them. Fisk was methodical, Fisk was smart, but now he just kills random people for hype moments. So our broken brains from the constant consuming of 10-second short videos can be entertained every few minutes. Where's the nuance? Where's the effort into our characters, into the plot? This all just really feels like lazy writing. They do have scenes with Fisk's side characters, but they just feel so paper thin, so weightless, so meaningless, that they ultimately had no impact on me as a viewer. In a Netflix show, we would have seen her go to Daniel's mother, or at least showed her grieve. Instead, we just see it in a headline on her show. We skip over her humanity because there are apparently more important things to get to. Just give us some time, man. Building an arc throughout, tying them into the themes of the season, caring to give them time, to have patience, and to let them breathe and be human is what makes them good characters. What happened to the characters just speaking about random things? They do this in episode 5, and moments like these make them seem like genuine people, but now everyone and every line is just all exposition. I mean, it's all plot focused, but the thing is, I don't care about the plot if I don't care about the characters. They do this consistently throughout the entire season, just constantly skipping the scenes that matter, that build the characters as people, just to create hype. When Matt turns up to the courtroom after he's been missing for a year, we have absolutely no build up to this moment, no scene of him speaking about why he needs to do this to Kirsten or why this is necessary. We don't see Matt and Kirsten reunite after an entire year of him being missing. We don't see her concern for him, bar one line that gets glossed over in an early episode.
Where's Matt?
Meanwhile, in Daredevil Season 3, when Matt goes missing, we have so many moments about how much he's missed, how much the people around him care, and it's so much more impactful when he returns because of that. Instead, his return to the people close to him all happens off screen, and while his return is a hype and aura applause moment, it ultimately feels empty. Similarly, in episode 6, we see no build up to the grand moment when Matt finally confronts Kingpin in his dungeon. We see zero scenes of Matt debating or realizing that he has nothing left, and it's better to reason with the man than simply fight, to protect the people he loves, the people we should love. If the show cared to make us love them, I mean. Maybe have moments of Matt and Co reacting to Vanessa's death, then realizing they must appeal to his emotional side. Maybe have Matt speak to the priest in church and learn from him that getting through to the man rather than the mayor in his vulnerable state could be feasible. Like if Bullseye can change, maybe Fisk can too. Then this moment would feel so earned, so impactful when Matt appears to confront Fisk and speak to him. Because the writing in this moment is genuinely incredible, but you can't write simply to say you have fire lines, again for hype and aura, but rather you must write a genuinely layered story throughout the season, and then the incredibly written lines will hit that much harder. The entirety of episode 6 feels like it just could have been 3 episodes. Everything happens all in one. Fisk grieving Vanessa, Jessica Jones returning, Bullseye and Karen's moment, the protest, Matt confronting Fisk, Fisk and Matt fighting, Karen being caught. This all happens in 50 minutes. Whereas if this were multiple episodes, it could have been genuinely fleshed out and captivating. Each moment would have been so much more effective. Instead, it's just just rushed all together to keep the season constantly hype. Also, in this episode, Fisk does not speak whatsoever until the end with Matt, and I thought while I was watching it, cool, they're just building a moment for him to speak about it so much more, but instead the rest of the season, they only give him genuinely one scene for like 30 seconds to speak about how he feels now that Vanessa has died. Vanessa, Fisk's constant beloved wife in every iteration of the character, has been murdered, and the season genuinely skips over any sort of response from Fisk to the death of his beloved wife, and again gives him just a 30-second scene so that we can get to the fun action. Like, compare this to even when Wesley dies in the original show. Fisk's grief seems genuine, it seems believable. In spite of us, Fisk rips a hole in the multiverse to get to Vanessa and to get his family back. In Born Again, I genuinely think that they didn't want to put effort into writing real dialogue from Fisk about this shocking death, and instead found it easier to have him fight, because Matt and Fisk fighting, look, oh my god, wow, that's so exciting! Every time that Matt and Fisk have a confrontation and they fight hand to hand in the Netflix show, the moment feels like a crescendo, one that's earned, one that we care for because of every moment of corruption, every moment of grief and anguish Matt goes through. Instead, this moment feels so weightless when they fight in Born Again. And to be fair, they did make us care for Fisk in this moment. We see incredible scenes of dialogue once he's lost Vanessa in episode 5, but we don't care for why Matt should stop him, why Fisk should agree to step down from being mayor. After all, it's entertaining for us to see him kill people. We really just need to care about the people that Fisk hurts, to care about Matt's pain, Matt's fear in this moment, to allow this fight between Daredevil and Kingpin to genuinely mean something. In this finale, the idea of Fisk fighting out his rage for Vanessa and for New York is cool. It's interesting how he becomes the true rage monster of the Kingpin and goes on a rampage, but we see none of how he feels, none of his thoughts. Outside of episode 5, we don't see him grieve, we don't see his pain. When he speaks to Heather, it feels like Fisk just lost his shares in Bitcoin, not the love of his life.
Are you familiar with Bitcoin?
Krashit.
This final shot of Fisk standing alone without Vanessa did not feel even remotely impactful because I saw none of his reaction to her death. And maybe I'm just an emotionless, sad person, but like, I just really didn't feel anything. Episode 5 genuinely created a beauty to the Vanessa Fisk story that throughout the rest of the season just feels so disjointed. In the first 4 episodes, why should we even slightly care about Vanessa? She does nothing to make us care for until she dies, so when her death happens, it has no impact. All we get is dream sequences and her seeming haunted to keep the tension building that Bullseye might kill her. But after episode 5, after we get a gut-wrenching, beautifully emotional scene between Fisk and Vanessa, we see almost nothing from Fisk. Bar some fire lines and literally one scene. Why skip over this? Vincent can clearly pull off an emotional performance, so why not use these incredible actors you have to write great material for them to work with? The finale and episode 5 of the show feel like episodes of a much greater season. The finale feels like it's culminating a show about redemption, about a struggle between Matt and Fisk for the delineation between retribution and grace. Yet instead, the majority of the season is undercooked and we only see these incredible ideas just here and there, but they have no build-up. Some of these ideas are amazing. The idea that since the first episode the show has been about redemption, and then Matt finally has this moment with Fisk that proves why grace is the correct way of dispensing justice rather than retribution, because Fisk does step down, he does accept that New York should be given peace rather than torment. People can change and Matt's moral code works. But this is pretty much only shown in episode 1 of the first season of Born Again, episode 5 of season 2, and in the finale.
I was raised to believe in grace, that we can be touched by the divine and transformed. But you should know I was also raised to believe in retribution.
This is your so-called retribution? It means nothing to me. What about grace? I believe you love this city same as me. We have the opportunity to give it peace, even if we have none. That's grace.
Feels like they genuinely had an incredible vision here, but it just got lost completely. These moments, these parallels feel so much like an afterthought that I could probably compile every moment that tries to build nuance instead of simply action this season, and it would add up to about 4 minutes. When the Netflix show spent hours making us care, every moment did, even the action had purpose. This theme of grace and faith presented in the finale should be layered throughout the season, in many situations, not just sporadically appearing here and there. The ideas are there, they're incredible, and they're executed well, but only in individual episodes, and then it just feels like the rest of the show completely loses that focus, and therefore these incredible moments just really have no weight to them. None of it has a clear through line, a clear vision, it just feels so muddled in its messaging. I feel like they just decided while writing the finale that they need to have a conclusion to the characters and added it in last minute. When they cook, they really cook, but it feels like there were too many cooks in the kitchen and just not enough meals on the menu. For example, Bullseye in this season is used to show this idea of redemption. If Matt had killed Bullseye, he never would have been able to change, well, somewhat, and help save the governor to in turn allow Fisk to live. But by the time we tune tune into season 2, Bullseye's already changed, he's already redeemed himself. There is no arc, there is no growth, he starts the season changed and ends the season the same. Nobody grows. If you wanted to show why Matt's moral code works, then show it clearly through Bullseye. If they made this a 13 episode season instead of the current rushed 8 episodes for no reason by the way, they could have showed Bullseye slowly growing and changing as the season continues, creating an almost inverse of season 3 of the Netflix show, where Dex starts off as an FBI agent trying to do good and slowly grow deeper down the rabbit hole and ends up becoming a psychopathic murderer. If they truly wanted to show his redemption, why skip over it and introduce a do-gooder Bullseye from the get-go? Why not have a reverse of that season 3 arc, have Dex grow and change and we witness his journey and in turn we understand Matt's moral code even more because of this. Create a season that truly proves why Matt does not kill the criminals of this world. Show his moral code working in practice. They do this fresh idea, but just so loosely and with so little effort that it feels like an afterthought. Dex saving Matt in episode 1 would have been so much more impactful if we had seen his change. We would have cared and rooted so much more for him. But again, instead of showing this, they use Bullseye as a character strictly for shock value, for hype, and for aura. They even plan to have Dex listening to Dr. Mercer's tapes before Matt comes and attacks him in truly one of the fight scenes of all time. Why not use this idea? Why not build a story for Dex? A story of growth, a story of redemption? How can you redeem the most truly evil character? Someone who kills anyone without thought in his mind, murders our beloved Foggy, but then do his redemption arc entirely off screen and have him immediately enter the season as almost a hero. So much more care was needed for this arc to make me believe it, to make it impact me as a viewer. The shock value of Dex saving Matt at the end of the first episode was not enough hype to warrant ignoring Dex as a human. Karen also has a moment where she wants to kill Bullseye for what he's done and saying that Fisk should die, that there is no other way, but this moment does not at all feel earned. She doesn't grow to reach this point, it just all feels a little lazy. Imagine if the entire season Karen had an arc, similar to Matt in season 3. Foggy's dead, the city's broken, and she goes further into a darker place. She wants to kill, she wants vengeance, and then that moment where she's about to kill Bullseye matters to us as an audience. We know Bullseye's changed, we've witnessed it, and we're rooting for him. We now care for him. We've seen Karen's dissension, the scenes that have built to her wanting to kill, and as she has this gun at Dex's head, the moment feels genuine, it feels raw, we feel conflicted. We love Karen, but we don't want her to fall further in this dark path. We don't want Dex to die, but we know he's evil. See how this exact same moment of Karen holding the gun to Dex could have actually mattered if she had her own arc, her own character journey, and if Bullseye had the same? Imagine this season, these two mirrored each other, an inverse of Matt and Dex mirroring each other in season 3. A breakdown of what the Netflix show achieved, but in a beautiful way. As Karen falls down a darker path, Dex grows, and then in turn that final moment of Fisk deciding to step down, accepting his fate for the better of the people of New York, would have been a final culmination for Karen's arc. She realizes why Matt's way works, why we shouldn't kill our enemies because there's always a light somewhere. People can always change, and she learns this the entire season. If they gave her these moments, all the exact same scenes in Born Again that are already there could have had actual weight. This moment between Karen and Heather in Born Again is an awesome idea, have them parallel each other. By just one scene, show her leading down this darker path, and then this moment where she's confronted by Heather, have her fear that this is who she will become if she continues. Instead, Karen is just Matt's sidekick and does nothing this season. We don't even get a scene of her taking the stand in her own trial. The trial of Karen Page could have also been 3 episodes, building and showing her fear throughout each, demonstrating her darkness lingering, and then even have Hochberg bringing out Karen's dark past. Fisk reveals her killing Wesley, killing her brother, have these parts of Karen's life all come to light, and Karen has to genuinely confront this darkness within her. Instead, we just have Fisk giving another philosophical speech that in the Netflix show would have been thematically relevant, but here adds nothing to the show, and solely exists so we can point at the scene when Fisk repeats a line we remember from the Netflix show.
I was a boy.
Nobody gives
Man, if you don't cut that shit out.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit.
I'm sorry, was that an answer or a speech, Mr.
And, my wife, Vanessa. But we can bring the...
Imagine if Karen had this trial that exposed her past and she had fallen so far in her fears and believed that she was this darkness. She's let it consume her because the people of the court have branded her as that. And then she tells Matt her plan to kill Fisk that night because she has no option left. She speaks about how she's going to prison anyway. She's already being booked for murder, so why not take out Fisk? What harm could it do? Matt tries to convince her that this won't solve anything, and she tells Matt, like in episode 6, that he needs to grow up. Matt has no options left, no way forward, so he resorts to playing his biggest card to save the person he loves. This moment of Matt revealing his identity could have been so much more purposeful. Instead, a moment that will define Matt for the rest of his life felt completely weightless. Imagine how much more hype and aura-filled that moment would have been if we had truly deeply cared about it. Karen realizes there is another way, in that moment where Fisk steps down to allow New York to live in peace, accepts his fate. In that moment, Karen of realizes why she should not kill, and her arc finally ends. She learns that Matt's way works, that if she had killed Fisk, he never would have had the opportunity to change. A powerful moment of redemption and an interesting, unique take on the characters of the show. I never truly feared for Karen during this trial. It never feels like she is truly in danger. I just felt like this moment was happening to build the hype moment of Matt's identity being revealed. Again, I'm not saying they have to do these specific ideas, but these are just examples of how to make us genuinely care for the show. Matt and Karen beat Fisk in court, but at the cost of every secret they have, everything comes out. What a beautiful idea, but executed with painfully little nuance in Born Again. Then that moment isn't just a hype and aura moment, one in which we don't even see the reactions of anyone or the conversations between them about how they feel that Matt is Daredevil. Remember when Foggy discovered Matt's alter ego and we had an entire episode dedicated to their friendship and a conversation between the two? Imagine if this happened in the Netflix Daredevil show and everyone in the world finds out that Matt is Daredevil, including Foggy, and this is his first time learning this, but instead he just makes a shocked face and the season ends without us seeing any of the impact that Matt's alter ego has made on the people close to him. Every character moment is so undercooked, every layer is so non-existent. By just letting scenes breathe, creating genuine arcs for the characters, reasons for us to root for them, to care for them, the season could be so much more impactful. Why should we even care about the anti-vigilante task force? All they are is evil and just shoot people. Sergeant Cole North could have had a slow redemption arc over the season, witnessing the corruption of Fisk, but instead for hype and aura he changes within 1 second in the finale, just like Daniel. Why not give these characters just something? Why not show us the task force as people rather than as murderous robots? If you're going to make a finale that emphasizes the theme of redemption like it was some huge grand concept, why not show this throughout the season? Exemplify it through characters like the members of the task force. This one member who changes and realizes what's wrong with the force happens entirely off screen, and he is simply used as a plot device to get Daredevil into the vigilante prison. Everyone is a plot device, every moment is just for the plot, yet there doesn't feel like there is any genuine plot. Until the final episode, everything is just we need to stop Fisk, like they always do. Every episode, everything and nothing happens at the same time. They just fight Fisk's goons, find things and end with a cliffhanger. Every line, every moment is so plot focused, but what is the plot? Mr. Charles is an example of this. He's simply a character to service the plot. What did this guy genuinely do other than put gun fingers up and taunt Fisk? Why is he here? He could be removed entirely and not one thing would change. Every idea is there, but is so underused. Another incredible idea that was not at all utilized in any way was Bullseye going to the church. The same church that he killed Father Lantern. Instead of showing his conversations with the priest, showing his moments in confession, we skip over all of this and only show his entrance so we can turn the screen blue again and make it seem like, oh, he's gonna murder the priest, oh no! Just hype and aura again. Why not have Dex mirror Matt again? Dex is sitting in the confession box, he speaks to the priest, and throughout the season he grows and he changes by centering himself on faith.
To make all the hurt just go away, so I can go back to feeling happy and gay. Am I losing my mind? I need a sign. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I?
In season 3 of the Netflix show, Matt and Dex parallel each other. Dex is the version of Matt if he lost his faith, if he lost his moral code and didn't believe in God's idea of redemption, and just took people's lives into his own hands. Dex is Matt without the moral compass of the good people around him, such as Father Lantern and Sister Maggie. The idea was incredible. Have Dex go to the church, grow in his faith, and show that he too can change like Matt did. Have him parallel Matt once again by having Dex gain the faith that he lacks and what causes Matt to be good. Have fresh arcs for the characters that don't all happen off screen. What if Dex's North Star becomes faith, becomes God? This would genuinely have been an interesting and unique take on the character this season and would have tied to all the themes of redemption. It's insane how they had this idea and put it in the show but chose actively not to use it in any meaningful way. They skip over literally all of it and we just see that Dex is religious now, but we see none of the moments that brought him. A core part of the original Daredevil show was the church, the scenes in confession, the scenes with the priest and then Sister Maggie. Matt makes a promise to come and visit her and speak to her in season 3, and his faith is what grounds him and allows him to be good. Instead it is completely absent in the first season of Born Again, but even worse, the church appears in season 2 of the show but is used solely as a plot device. Matt goes there when he needs to find Bullseye and when he's injured and he needs to hide from Fisk. This theme is so core to Daredevil as a character, and that's why he wears the devil suit, to be a warning for what will come of our sins. Matt even describes himself as God's soldier. That's the character, man. Not an ounce of that is present in Born Again, because writing scenes that debate philosophy and morality in the church doesn't fit the constant high intensity of the pacing in the show. Wow, this is really making me mad. The ending of the finale, Matt speaks about his faith, he speaks about grace. It's as if that theme was present in Matt's life the entire season, but it's not. Imagine how much more impactful that moment would have been, speaking about how God brings grace to people and allows them to change, saying this to Fisk in their final moment together. Imagine if this idea were developed through Matt's faith being present throughout the season. You can't just include elements from before to excite the viewers, but you need to genuinely have these elements work in of themselves in the season. Have us care about them rather than just relying on what came before. Everything relies on what came before, but this is meant to be a new show. Why would anyone care about Matt and Karen's date spot to end the season on, the place they hide out, if they hadn't seen that incredible moment between Matt and Karen in the original show? They would have been better off creating a new location to represent their relationship, one that was actually meaningful to the show of Born Again. You can't create a series at the emotional core of the show. It requires you to have watched another series. For example, when we see Brett Mahoney, we rely on how the character was written in the original show to care about him now, but why should we? It feels as if the creatives forgot why we actually cared about characters such as Brett, such as Ellison and Jessica. Instead, they use them for hype and aura moments, but these moments just feel so empty. The reason I cared for these characters was because they felt like genuine humans. They had personality, they had character. Cameos are fine, they're cool, so I won't talk about Edison too much, but Brett does nothing in the season. He's as interesting as Cherry in season 1.
My ghost busting days are long gone, my friend.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I don't know how much this nigga got, but I'll be thinking about my bills and I'll be thinking about this nigga bills. I'll be like, bro, how do you make, I said this before, bro, on some real shit.
Me?
No, him. How do this nigga make money, bro?
Come on, me?
Nigga, fuck you.
Jessica Jones adds nothing here. Why is she in this season other than to sell Disney Plus subscriptions? At least give her a purpose, give her something. She doesn't need to be a main character, but just do anything. In season 3, every single character ties to the themes of the show, ties to the plot, and ties to Matt. The creators made us care about every single one of them. Even this random lady that watches Fisk's security in season 3 was a better character than Matt in this season of Born Again, and she had about 4 minutes of screen time. All of Matt's build up, his arc of caring about redemption and his no-kill rule is developed in the Netflix show. If you watch Born Again alone, why do you care whatsoever or understand why Matt doesn't kill Fisk? Instead, he just seems like a useless, time-wasting idiot. I saw Vincent D'Onofrio say that in the finale of Born Again, they topped the I beat you scene from the finale of Netflix season 3. And I saw people online agreeing with this, but come on. While this moment was incredibly written and this entire episode was fresh and it was exciting, the moment doesn't feel at all impactful because none of the themes Matt speaks about here matter to us as an audience whatsoever. If you watch the I beat you scene as a clip on YouTube without ever having watched Daredevil, yeah, I mean it seems passionate, the acting is good, but I don't think any of us would really care or feel impacted whatsoever because the context of the moment is what brings the moment its impact. Born Again's version of this I beat you scene feels like watching that clip on YouTube without any context or build, but I've literally watched the entire season and that's how I feel. If you took the I beat you scene from the Netflix show and put it in the same plot and the same show as Born Again, I would not have cared whatsoever because there would be no meaning to it, no build. It's not about having incredible writing and acting in one big moment, it's about the context and what leads to that moment. That's what makes me care. Season 3 of the Netflix show is a character dissension, and then rise. Throughout he learns to change, he struggles with the darkest parts of himself and even attempts to allow criminals to kill him because he's so broken. Throughout the season he discovers the beauty of his faith, the beauty of his friends and the people around him. Meanwhile, this scene in the finale of Born Again has none of that context, none of the layers of the build that makes us care about what Matt is saying at all. Imagine a season that builds through every character, through Karen, Bullseye, Daniel, the task force members. Everybody has an arc that shows us why Matt's moral code of grace and redemption matters. And then Matt pulls his supporters off of Fisk, knowing that he would have made hundreds of more kingpins had he not, and then has this beautiful speech to Fisk, but also to every person in that room, every supporter of his, and to us as the audience, to have faith. Instead of Matt and Fisk picking sides and fighting it out, they both realize that there is no good nor evil, just different agendas, as Bullseye says in episode 5, and to give New York the peace it needs. They must stop fighting for their own agendas, they must both step down and walk away. This is such an impactful ending to the Kingpin and Daredevil rivalry, with both Matt and Fisk agreeing to break the never-ending cycle of pain they inflict on the people of New York, and they both step away for the betterment of the city.
You love this city same as me. We have the opportunity to give it peace, even if we have none. I accept.
So while the individual writers of the episode did such beautiful work with this final speech, and while it is exciting and it is a great episode, it has no impact. Because the moment is devoid of even a shred of a character arc for Matt before it. He has nothing this season, he does nothing whatsoever. We spend most of the season with Fisk's side characters, so we have no reason to care for the humans to protect this moment, the everyday people of New York. It's like the show wants us to care about Fisk and his side characters more than the Resistance. Surely we should feel the pain and the desperation of the allies that band together against Fisk. We should love the people of the Resistance and love the people of New York. So we should root for them to win. Even BB barely speaks about her uncle, barely has any scenes that spend time with the impact that Fisk has had on her or her family. It feels like the writers just suddenly remember that, oh wait, BB is Ben Urich's niece, and then they just slot in a line that feels really forced and just feels really random to try and make it work.
Is this some, like, sisterhood here, end at the lesson type shit?
No, it's more like an I don't want you to die type of shit. I don't want you to follow in the footsteps of your uncle.
Why not have BB and Karen work together, have Karen mentor her instead of just one scene? They could have had a beautiful storyline with them together. And because of that, during this incredibly written final moment of the grand Daredevil and Kingpin rivalry, I ended up not feeling a single thing. Instead, this scene feels as if I was watching a final moment on a YouTube clip that was beautifully acted. It felt grand to watch, but ultimately felt like a final moment to a more nuanced and layered season that we never got to see. This season has some of the best ideas of any Daredevil outing, and yes, that includes the original show, yet fails to actually do anything with them because the episode count is far too short and the season is far too fast paced to bring anything to the character. Instead, ends up as a muddled, frantic mess, one that prioritizes action over developing any of the people of the show or developing any of the interesting ideas that makes the show impactful. While the finale was exciting, the show was entertaining, the action was awesome, and the moments were incredible, I ultimately walked away from Daredevil Born Again Season 2 feeling devoid of any emotion, feeling numb, and I felt this after every episode. I felt like none of this mattered at all. You have a perfect blueprint in Netflix Daredevil Season 3, 13 episodes carefully layered and built, themes that intertwine, characters that we care for that matter. It feels like the creators watched a bunch of different Daredevil edits on TikTok and assumed that this is what we want the character to be. It's sad. It's really sad. And I don't think Season 3 will change this because it's the same showrunner, the same creatives, and it was shot at the same time Season 2 came out. Already written, so there has been no time to change anything or improve on the criticisms. I don't hate the creators for this, I don't blame anyone in particular. I just feel like this season there were far too many ideas and there was far too little focus. This season was good enough to keep making, but Daredevil was never just good enough. It never just did the bare minimum. And unfortunately, because of its refusal to care about the humans of the show, its refusal to use what worked from before and instead use the characters as hype and aura cameos, when the reason why we love them is because they were genuine people rather than plot devices, and because of its refusal to allow us to feel anything, the show ends up as a display of pure hype without any substance. And therefore I believe that Daredevil Born Again is unfortunately and truly an insult to the Netflix show. Subscribe or Fisk will murder you.